His discovery wasn't just news, it was a bombshell that left kings, scholars, and sailors stunned, skeptical, and scheming. How did Spain react when Columbus sailed back in 1493, claiming he'd found a new route to Asia? What made them believe, or doubt, his wild story? Stick around, because this tale of triumph, doubt, and big dreams is crazier than you think. It's March 1493, and Christopher Columbus is sailing back to Spain after his first voyage, carrying news that he thinks will change the world. He's convinced he's found Asia by sailing west, but he's stumbled onto the Caribbean. This video is all about how Spain, and parts of Europe, reacted to his discovery. We're diving into the excitement, the arguments, and the plans that followed when Columbus dropped his bombshell on the Spanish court. The big challenge is this: Columbus is coming back with a story that sounds too good to be true. He's got no piles of gold, just a few trinkets, some plants, and a handful of Taino people he's brought along. He's promised Spain riches and a new route to Asia. But can he convince King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella that he's not making it up? And how does his news ripple across Europe? Let's break it down. Columbus's journey back starts in January 1493 from Hispaniola, where he left 39 men at a fort called La Navidad. He's got the Nina and Pinta, the Santa Maria, wrecked on Christmas Day, and a small crew, plus a few Taino he's taken as guides. The return trip is rough. Storms hit hard in the Atlantic, and the ships get separated. Columbus, on the Nina, nearly sinks off the Azores. He stops in Portugal first, where King John II gets a sneak peek at his news. John's not happy. He thinks Columbus's discovery might step on Portugal's toes, since they're racing to find their route to Asia around Africa. On March 15, 1493, Columbus finally sailed into Palos, Spain, where he started. The town's buzzing. People line the docks, staring at his ships, whispering about what he's brought back. Columbus doesn't waste time. He heads straight to Barcelona, where Ferdinand and Isabella are holding court. He's got a plan to make his return a spectacle. He brings gold nuggets, parrots, cotton, strange plants like tobacco, and 6 Taino men, dressed up in feathers and jewelry. It's like a show and tell to prove he's found something significant. Let's talk about what Columbus is carrying. The gold is small, just trinkets and nuggets from the Taino, not the mountains he promised. He's got spices, but they're not the black pepper or cinnamon Spain wanted. The tobacco is new. Europeans have never seen it before, and no one knows what to make of it. The Taino are the real draw, living proof of a new world. Columbus calls them Indians, thinking he's in Asia's outer islands. He's hyping up his find, saying he's reached the edge of China or Japan, and more riches are just a trip away. The Spanish court's reaction is a mix of awe and doubt. Ferdinand and Isabella welcome Columbus like a rock star. They're fresh off their victory against Granada, feeling like Spain's on top of the world. Columbus walks into Barcelona in April 1493, parading his goods and the Taino through the streets. The court's packed with nobles, priests, and scholars, all gawking at the Indians and the parrots. Isabella, who's super religious, loves Columbus's talk about converting these new people to Christianity. Ferdinand sees dollar signs, gold, and a trade route to beat Portugal. But not everyone's sold. Some scholars in the court aren't buying Columbus's Asia story. They've read the same books he has, Ptolemy, Marco Polo, and they know Asia's supposed to have cities, palaces, and spices. Where are the silk markets? Where's the Great Khan? Columbus's gold is lovely, but it's not enough to prove he's hit the jackpot. His maps and math are still shaky, and some whisper he's exaggerating to save face. After all, he spent years convincing Spain to fund him. Failure's not an option. Columbus leans hard into his pitch. He describes the Caribbean, lush islands, fertile land, rivers, and friendly people. He calls Hispaniola a marvel, saying it's got gold mines just waiting to be tapped. He talks up the Taíno, saying they're ready to work for Spain and convert to Christianity. He's not lying exactly. He believes he's close to Asia, but he's stretching the truth to keep the royals hooked. He promises that a second voyage will bring back shiploads of gold and spices. Let's zoom in on the Taíno he's brought. These 6 men are a sensation in Spain. People stare, point, and whisper about their tattoos, gold jewelry, and unfamiliar language. Columbus presents them as proof of his success, but it's tough for them. They're far from home, surrounded by strangers, and some are sick from the voyage. A few don't survive long in Europe. Disease and shock take a toll. Columbus says they're willing converts, but they likely don't understand what's happening. It's a glimpse of the human cost of his discovery, even if Spain doesn't see it yet. The Spanish crown's response is tremendous. Ferdinand and Isabella named Columbus Admiral of the Ocean Sea and Viceroy of the lands he had found, as promised in their 1492 contract. They shower him with honors, a fancy coat, and a seat at court. More importantly, they greenlight a second voyage, this time with 17 ships, over 1,000 men, and a mission to colonize and mine gold. Spain's not just curious, they're all in, betting Columbus can deliver. The news spreads beyond Spain. Europe's a small world for kings and merchants, and Columbus's story travels fast. Portugal's King John II is annoyed. He thinks these new lands fall under Portugal's claim, based on a 1479 treaty. He and Spain start arguing over who owns what. This leads to the Pope stepping in, drawing a line on a map with the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494, splitting the New World between Spain and Portugal. Columbus's discovery isn't just Spain's news, it's kicking off a global race. Back in Spain, the reaction isn't all cheers. Some merchants and sailors are skeptical. They want hard proof: gold, spices, trade routes, not just stories and a few trinkets. Columbus's promises are significant, but his haul is small. Some call him a dreamer, maybe even a fraud. But the public? They're eating it up. Stories of Indians and new lands spread through markets and taverns. Columbus becomes a celebrity, the guy who dared to sail west and came back with wonders. The climax hits in April 1493, when Columbus kneels before Ferdinand and Isabella in Barcelona. The court's packed, the Taíno are on display, and Columbus spins his tale of islands, gold, and a path to Asia. The royals are dazzled, granting him titles and a second voyage. It's his moment of triumph, but it's also a turning point. Spain's not just celebrating, they're planning to claim this new world, setting the stage for colonization, conquest, and all that follows. So, how did Spain react to Columbus's discovery? They were thrilled, skeptical, and ready to double down. Ferdinand and Isabella saw a chance to outshine Portugal and spread their faith. The court buzzed with excitement, but doubts lingered. Columbus's gold wasn't enough to silence the critics. His return sparked a frenzy in Europe, from royal courts to tavern gossip. But it also raised a big question. What would happen when Spain sent Columbus back with an army of settlers? That's where the story gets wilder. Columbus's return wasn't just a homecoming. It was the moment Europe woke up to a new world. His discovery lit a fire under Spain, pushing them to claim lands they barely understood. Want to know what happened on his second voyage? Check out the following video in the series. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my video with others.